Hey, what's up, everyone? It's that time again for another TBR. This is my April 2023 TBR, and I've got 3 books planned plus 1 bonus book, but I'll talk more about the bonus book when we get to it. First book that I have planned for April is Kumquat by Jeff Strand. This is my third ebook on Kindle and my third Jeff Strand book ever. I'm really liking his style, and I wouldn't say he's like the greatest author that's ever lived, but he is certainly something. I really like the stories he comes up with, and he's pretty decent. I hope to read a lot more from him in the future. But before I actually get into what the synopsis is of this book, I want you to guess in the comments below what you think this book's going to be about. I'm going to go ahead and put the book cover up here somewhere around here. So go ahead and take a look at that. All right, hopefully you had enough time to take a look at that. So the book's called Kumquat. You saw the book cover. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think the book's going to be about. If you haven't heard of the book yet, be as specific as possible. I'd really love some wild answers, but try to guess, and we'll see if anyone is even close. So after everyone's left a comment, let's go ahead and get into the synopsis. 35-year-old introvert Todd Bryan hasn't really done much with his life, and he's okay with that. Until at a painfully bad film festival, he meets Amy Husk. She's attractive, she's funny, she's quirky, and she has an inoperable brain aneurysm and not much time to live. She may not even make it to the long-awaited final episode of Exit Red, the greatest show ever. She's convinced that they should do something crazy and frivolous. And suddenly Todd, a guy who doesn't do spontaneity, is on an insane road trip from Florida to Rhode Island with a woman he barely knows, just to visit a really cool hot dog place. Many things will go wrong, but hey, many things will go right too. There's a hook-handed hitchhiker and some property destruction, maybe some sex. A kumquat will probably be relevant at some point, although not during the sex, if there is any. A laugh-out-loud comedy, a touching love story, and a cross-country adventure. Kumquat is a story about making the most out of the time you got. If that doesn't interest you, there's also a gummy bear tractor. So, did you guess correctly? Well, I'll check the comments and we'll see if anyone got anywhere close to it. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about this book other than it sounds like a pretty fun adventure. I said in my Cyclops Road book review that I really like road trip stories, especially road trips movies. And that is kind of what made me want to read this. I really like the road tripping aspect of Cyclops Road, and I feel like this was going to have even more of that. It seems like more of what I expected from Cyclops Road, so that's why this one's going on my TBR. Next up on my TBR is Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. This is my second Amor Towles book. The first one was on my last TBR, and that was A Gentleman in Moscow. I really enjoyed that book. That is probably in the top 10 books ever for me. It really blew me away. I was not expecting to like it that much. As soon as I finished that, I immediately went out and bought this and The Lincoln Highway, the other book from him. And that's probably going to be on a TBR coming soon, probably maybe next month. We'll see. I might get a little tired of this type of story, but we'll see about that. But yeah, I absolutely love The Gentleman in Moscow, so that's why this one's going on. But let me go ahead and read the synopsis for this, and we'll see if it's like A Gentleman in Moscow at all or what this story's about. On the last night of 1937, 25-year-old Katie Content is in a second-rate Greenwich Village jazz bar when Tinker Gray, a handsome banker, happens to sit at the neighboring table. This chance encounter and its startling consequences propel her on a year-long journey toward the upper echelons of New York society, where she will have little to rely upon other than a bracing wit and her own brand of cool nerve. So this is quite a bit different than A Gentleman in Moscow, I think. It's the same type of story, as in it's going to probably be a lot of different connections and human emotion and ups and downs and that type of thing. Obviously, A Gentleman in Moscow took place in Moscow, and he was stuck in the hotel pretty much the entire book. And this is going to take place in 1937 in New York. So it's going to be different in that way. But the reason I liked A Gentleman in Moscow wasn't because it was set in Moscow or in a hotel or anything like that. It was like the human connection that Amor Towles really brought out in everybody, and that is what propelled that book into like the top 10 for me. So that is why I'm going to read this in April. It's definitely not something I normally would have picked up. I would have never picked this up probably if I had not read A Gentleman in Moscow. That book just, like I said, I can't get over how awesome that book was. So, but anyways, that's why I'm picking this up. On to the next book. So the next book I have planned is Bone Key. It's a supernatural novel. If you've never heard of Supernatural, it is a TV show that ended about a year or two ago. Went for 15 seasons, but it's basically about two brothers that fight demons, fight monsters, and they've kind of grown up doing that. So I don't want to say too much, but if you are at all interested in like supernatural or family bonding, that type of thing, then go check out the series. You might like it. This is the third book in the series. It's called Bone Key. The first one was Nevermore, and the second one was Witch's Canyon. I liked both of those. I don't expect any of the books in the series to be exceptional. The first two are pretty good, but it's just a TV tie-in book, so it's not going to be super amazing. This is the third one in 17 books. Yeah, there are 17 of these, and if I finish it all, it's going to be the longest series that I've ever read. But I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis, and it might not make any sense to you if you haven't watched the Supernatural series, but I'm going to read it regardless, so let me get into that. Sam and Dean are headed for Key West, Florida, home to Hemingway, hurricanes, and a whole lot of demons. The tropical town has so many ghouls on the loose that one of its main moneymakers has long been a series of ghost tours. But the tours are no more, not since one of the guides was found dead of an apparent heart attack, his face frozen in mid-scream. No one knows what horrors he saw, but the Winchester brothers are about to find out. Soon they'll be face to face with the ghosts of the island's most infamous residents. Demons with a hidden agenda and a mysterious ancient power looking for revenge. It's up to Sam and Dean to save the citizens of Key West before the beautiful island is reduced to nothing more than a pile of bones. So yeah, this is basically just a stepping stone in the Supernatural series. This doesn't cover a specific episode. It just is kind of in between episodes, and I'm not really sure if it's canon or not. But regardless, I like the first two, and I'm sure I'm going to like this one as well. But that's really all I have to say about this one. Now for the bonus book. The bonus book is Fluent Forever by Gabriel Wyner. And I'm not going to read the synopsis of this. I'm just going to give a little bit of backstory. I picked this book up on a whim a while ago. It is basically... it says right here, how to learn any language fast and never forget it. So it's just going to basically give tips and tricks on how to remember words and phrases and grammar rules, I'm sure, on second languages or foreign languages. I am actually planning on starting a second YouTube channel. It's in the early stages. I'm not going to go too much into it right now, but I plan on reviewing this book on that channel. If you are unaware, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you should definitely check me out on Twitter. But I mentioned briefly on Twitter that I learned Korean for a little while, and I went to Korea and I spoke pretty much exclusively Korean there. It's been a while since I've learned Korean and studied it, so a lot of it's fallen off. But I've always wanted to get back into language learning. I really enjoy language learning. So this is going to be probably one of the first videos I do on that channel. It's going to be an early video, and I mentioned this as a bonus book because I don't know if I'm going to finish it. It's not going to be vital that I finish this in April. I'm just going to kind of read it in between the rest of these books. If you think I should do a review of this book on this channel, let me know, but it's definitely going to be a book review on the language channel. All right, so that is all I have for my April 2023 TBR. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.